My name is Rachelle Smith, Certified Master Fitness Trainer, Professional Speaker, and Author. Last time, I highlighted the award-winning franchise owner, Anytime Fitness franchise owner, Jennifer Lawrence. Wasn't she inspiring, folks? And that's why I'm always on the lookout for outliers in any aspect of life, because I know that people are truly inspired by those who are the best of the best, regardless of what they're doing. And actually just wanted to kick off this episode before I shift into this new topic of disruptive leadership in the fitness industry. I wanted to highlight what some of her members have said about her and her facility. Tyler Johnson said, "Anytime Walled Lake will change your opinion on what a gym is like. Great owners who are getting their sweat on right next to you and are always there to answer any questions you have. The trainers are top notch. Gym and bathrooms are always clean. They are active in the Walled Lake community and have events and free park training sessions that are a great experience. After coming to this gym for a few weeks, you'll be hooked. You'll get to know the staff and see a lot of regulars and build friendships. Anytime has changed my opinion on fitness and therefore has changed my life." Tony Stroughton says, "Anytime Fitness has a motivating atmosphere like nothing I've experienced in a gym before. Jen and Mark is one of her trainers, met him before, are so supportive and genuinely interested in helping you achieve your fitness goals. There's plenty of variety to choose from between the available fitness classes, some are free, and a wide range of equipment to help keep your workouts fresh. I treated myself to training with Mark last fall and been so pleased with the results." Harley says, "How can you not? Open 24 hours, even on holidays, which I love Brian and Jen," and Brian is her husband, "for the most amazing owners you can ever ask for. They even help you without asking for money. I love them so much. It's like your family." And that one was kind of written in some broken sentences and things like that, but wonderful commentary. Melissa Baroni says, "Very nice, spacey, clean gym with plenty of parking. The staff is always friendly and helpful. There is no extra charge for classes and they have a wide variety of offerings." MMJ says, "I love this gym, brand new equipment, super clean facility. Brian is the man. I recently moved to Colorado and when I'm in town, this is my favorite gym." Lastly, Eric Roseman says, "A franchise without the franchise feel. Polite and welcoming staff, large and open layout, clean environment, and thoughtfully put together to genuinely provide more than enough value for a health club. A+. Oh, my bad. One more. Carl's Juno says, "Compared to other 24-hour gyms, Lifetime Fitness and LA Fitness, this is a great gym. I found the resistance training area to be excellent and enjoy using the spinning cycles." So, folks, if you want to get your own franchise, regardless of what type of franchise, fried chicken, cleaning company, carpet cleaner, whatever the case may be, child care, you must love what you do. Because when you love what you do and you're in the right place and you're passionate, people will take notice. And so that's just something, again, a public forum. I'm sitting here reading, of course, from the internet on my phone, but these are public comments that folks have made about her and their facility there, Anytime Fitness in Walled Lake. So another kudos to Jen and Brian Lawrence on the great job you all are doing at Anytime Fitness. And so I wanted to quickly shift gears here and talk about this concept of disruption in the fitness industry. I'm going to talk about it next time on a macro, larger scale, but this time I wanted to focus specifically on disruption and fitness leadership. Again, leaders who come along recently and in the last 20, 25 years or so and have really caused a lot of disruption in the industry. We talk about this concept. We're applying the concept of disruption in business. Dr. Christensen actually coined this phrase. Is very popular. And if you read business books and business magazines, you've heard about this concept of disruption. But Dr. Christensen out of Harvard Business School and coined this phrase, and it's very popular, and it's always dealing with innovation and those who are really game changers in the industry, again, like your Facebooks and your Amazons, those who have truly disrupted the status quo and what may have been done in the past, and just shaking things up in the marketplace in a positive manner. So again, when you hear disruption, it's not like we're talking about someone acting up in a classroom. This is a very positive term, and talking about someone, again, that has shaken things up and changed the status quo for the better. And in the fitness industry, when you think about those who have changed and those who have really caused a lot of disruption, there's a couple of different criteria that apply to this concept of disruption. Number one, someone coming in, whether it's an idea, a franchise, model, product, service with a low cost model, all right? Or something that is number two, something that is truly new, unique, game changing, really shaking up the status quo. And fortunately, you have examples of both of those in the fitness industry. Of course, all other industries. We think about what Facebook has done for communication. You think about even what email has done and smartphones now. And it's just amazing how much disruption has occurred. But to continue this conversation forward, just highlighted a local franchise of Anytime Fitness. Have to kick off when you talk about disruptive leadership. The founders, the three founders of Anytime Fitness, Chuck Runyon, Dave Mortensen, and Jeff Klinger. Jeff Klinger actually exited the business in 2009 to pursue other interests, but the number one global franchise according to Entrepreneur Magazine. And they're fairly new. Again, just was founded in 2002, and they have taken the world literally by storm. And so what you had here, back in the day, the three of them were actually consultants. So they would travel the country, going and consulting with various gyms, particularly your larger chain gyms, on how to grow their membership, how to improve their processes, how to become more profitable. So it's no wonder that they now have the number one global franchise. And so essentially when you hear me say that, particularly those, perhaps you're not an entrepreneur or a small business owner, but Entrepreneur Magazine as well as Inc. Magazine, they have yearly rankings. And so Anytime Fitness, when you hear me say the number one global franchise, what that means is, of course, there's no guarantees when it comes to entrepreneurship, but by those very objective rankings where they look at various criteria and they're ranking these individual franchise chains, they're saying essentially wherever you are in the world, if you want to be successful, start an Anytime Fitness model. Of course, there's no guarantees, but if you follow the model, you follow their plan, you will be successful if you do your part. All right, but there's some things obviously that you won't be able to control, but this franchise is incredibly successful. I mean, by this time, another 12 to 18 months, they're going to be pushing on 4,000 franchises. Again, was just founded in 2002, so that is remarkable. All right, and actually, I read this book. Actually, Chuck Runyon, who's actually one of the co-founders of Anytime Fitness, wrote this wonderful book on fitness. And I read this on my way last month to my grandmother's funeral down south, and just really, and it's not even a pro Anytime Fitness, we're number one and we rock type of book. It is essentially, he speaks to the pain of people who struggle with fitness, who struggle with working out, and hence the title, Working Out Sucks. And it's a very quick read, it's an easy read, where essentially each chapter he focuses on the point, working out sucks, but again, think about the healthcare costs that you're going to incur when you have declining health. I mean, and each chapter is laid out like that. And he actually also has a dietitian and an exercise expert also that co-wrote it with him. But just I actually highly recommend this book. It really speaks to a lot of the struggles that folks face. And so he published this in 2011, and it's amazing. After this book was published, his franchise, or their franchise, really just took off. And so they've really, like I said, this franchise is really done well worldwide. But again, they came in as consulting in the industry already, saw what strengths and weaknesses were there based on, again, and they also foresaw that the large chain models was also going to ultimately become a thing of the past. All right, and so when they decided, okay, we've been consulting with all these gyms and we're helping all these other folks succeed, let's do the same for ourselves. And hence they created Anytime Fitness, and they built a very solid model that can be replicated, of course, anywhere in the world, and has been successful in all the different places that they've opened, many different countries. And so, but very lean model. One thing you'll find, you walk into Anytime Fitness, I've been in a number of them, but you will see a trainer or trainers, manager, owner. Many times you will see the owner will also be the trainer and the manager. So you see it's a very lean model, meaning that their overhead is very low. So you're not going to see receptionists and all of these layers of people, assistant managers and all of that, because why? That's expensive. All right, you're not going to see pools and all that other stuff. Why? Because that's expensive. You know, and from a franchise standpoint, it's incredibly important if you want to be successful to have a very lean model. And so when I even think about my own experiences, when I've been in Anytime Fitness, one huge strength that they have from a sales standpoint is that you're walking in, you're not dealing with an account manager, you're not dealing with a salesperson. It is highly likely that you are going to be given a tour, if you're going for a tour, by the owner, by the manager, by a trainer, which in some cases will be all three. And it's just a remarkable experience. I will share with you on another episode just the difference that makes when a trainer is giving a tour. Again, someone with a background in fitness, someone who trains people versus just some random account manager or salesperson. Huge difference. But I would argue that's a big reason why, in my opinion, these gyms actually sell themselves. So very, very lean model, very safe model, open 24 hours. Again, they don't have people staffed overnight. They're not having electric bills that are off, just through the roof because their power's always on. It's basically on and off based on usage. So incredibly lean and successful model. So that is Anytime Fitness. Next, Planet Fitness. You actually have on a Planet Fitness t-shirt. Now, I found this, actually, I'm a former member of Planet Fitness. I've told you that in prior episodes, but several years ago, and I actually had a couple of my old Planet Fitness t-shirts when I was actually back home in Louisiana for my grandmother's funeral last month. And I'm very big on props, and I was so excited when I found it. And I said, oh, I'm going to be able to wear this on this episode when I talk about disruptive leadership. But Planet Fitness. They're sitting right now at about 1,300 franchises, also doing extremely well. And it's so important. You think about, again, the Grandal brothers, Mike and Mark, when they founded this franchise back in 1992, and it's essentially the discount model. And you talk about disruption in the fitness industry. There's just this amazement that a fitness membership costs $10 a month was essentially cost less than it did back in the 80s. It's just when you adjust for time, when you adjust for inflation, just remarkable that they've been able to come in and be successful at this $10 price point, and they are committed to keeping the price at $10, which is remarkable. And so the Grandal brothers had a vision, and again, one of the brothers actually slept in the gym. Money was tight when they were founding the gym, and so can relate to that, not having money, and always wanted to open up the fitness industry to the greater world, just the greater population, because again, not everyone can afford an $80 a month membership at Lifetime Fitness, or a $150 to $250 membership at Equinox Fitness. Also, two of the top gyms in the country. But we all know Planet Fitness by their ubiquitous marketing, the TV ads, the big ads that you get in your mailers, very aggressive marketing budget. Ad Age magazine actually said that in 2015 they spent more than $40 million on their measured media, again, which is their TV, which is their print advertising and direct mail and things like that. So they are an advertising powerhouse. And this actually benefits not only Planet Fitness, the TV ads and things like that. That benefits the entire industry, because that may draw someone in, hopefully from their standpoint, draw someone into to Planet Fitness, but also other gyms that benefit from that. Because someone may say, well, this gym's too small, or I want to do something else, and hence they go in a different direction. But Planet Fitness, I was a member, like I said, several years ago, worked out one time and recognized that it wasn't for me. But what I do, and that's why I love what I do, because I have to be objective and say, hey, there's a reason why this gym has been very successful. It's one of the top gyms, not only fitness franchise, but one of the top gyms consistently ranked in America. And people want to laugh at their lunk alarms and all of the rules and regulations that they have. But in 2016, who ranked number 2 on the J.D. Power and Associates fitness facility, or the gym survey, in terms of customer and member satisfaction? That's right, Planet Fitness. So all of their rules and all their regulations protect their members and keep them there and keep them loyal. And yes, they rank number 2 in terms of member satisfaction. So quick point here about Planet Fitness, and a lot of things, they have a lot. So of course they got the $10 membership, which is again the basic membership, but they've really been emphasizing a lot the Black Card membership, which is your $19.99 a month. You can go to any of their 1,300 locations in the country, but so much they give away for free. Again, going back to the founders, that disruptive model of being inexpensive. We're going to have a lot offered here at the Black Card level, but what a lot of people don't realize is that when you've got a Black Card membership, actually not even just Black Card membership, even the $10 membership, they have free fitness training. You can actually sit down with a trainer, and that person will design a program for you. And then they also have fitness classes each day of the week at certain times where they work on a certain body part, and it's included in membership. And so that is hugely remarkable, where you're not paying an extra fee for personal training. It's included in your membership, so that person will work with you, will design a program, and that is just remarkable and just highly disruptive in the fitness industry. So when you see all the fitness, you see all the Planet Fitness ads, they have so much, and they're constantly advertising. But that's because, again, when you're at a $10 model and a $19.99 a month model, you've got to have member volumes got to be very high in order to sustain that, in order to be successful. So they must continually recruit members. And next is CrossFit. You may have seen the CrossFit games on TV, and again, I'm going to talk about this next time with the overall disruption in the fitness industry, but where bodybuilding was in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, CrossFit in the 2000s has really, again, kind of stolen its thunder, taken its place in terms of prominence. We've got the CrossFit games on ESPN. They've got to be pushing close to 14,000. I mean, 13,000 has been cited, the total number of CrossFit boxes in the world. That's been cited for the last 2 years, and they're growing like crazy. So I imagine they've got to be at least 13,500 to 14,000 CrossFit boxes around the world by now. They are everywhere, ubiquitous and growing. Actually, when I was home last month, I saw this huge ad. New CrossFit facility to open at Ashley Ridge. They are everywhere. And why is that? In 2000, Greg Glassman, who's and his co-founder, Largenet, he said, former gymnast, he wasn't satisfied in terms of what was available in terms of fitness training. And so he developed a model where he worked with gymnasts initially, and then transferred that on where he was working with police departments, law enforcement, elite military groups, and all of that. And so what he did was to take, again, what was typically a boot camp, highly elite type of fitness regimen, and made it available to everyone. And that's why this particular model has been so successful, because you've got this very results driven, where you see their marketing, you look at CrossFit, some of their e-newsletters with various random owners, they're always talking about results. But this person improved, this person did this person did that. But a highly successful model. But he just came in and said, I don't like what I see, I'm getting ready to make some things happen. And one thing that is incredibly remarkable about Greg Glassman and this CrossFit concept, and again, why it's the number one, in terms of the number of CrossFit boxes or facilities in the world, over 13,000, what I want to say 13,500, 14,000 by now with the growth, is that in terms of what he's charging is his franchise fees, which is absolutely, again, disruptive in and of itself. So his franchise fees for on a yearly basis, folks, range from $500, and a cutoff is $3,000 a year. So again, the 500 people paying $500 a year were those that got on board early, but now the cutoff is $3,000, which is incredible, which is just unimaginable. Okay, again, because your average franchises across the industry are charging $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 a year franchise fees. His cutoff is $3,000. So if you're running a $1 million CrossFit box in New York City, you're still going to pay that same $3,000. But if you listen to his, and I've studied him as a leader, I'm very inspired by him, but he said, I'm not trying to get, of course he's very wealthy, but just in terms of his motives and why he founded CrossFit, I'm not trying to keep all the money and have all the money going to me. I want to keep the cost low for the owners so they can reinvest in their business. They're not sending me checks for $40,000 a year. They can spend that extra money investing in their own boxes and other things, their CrossFit boxes and things that they need to do. So just absolutely remarkable that he took that stance and said it's not all about the money. And that's why you will see a lot of CrossFit owners are younger. And so why? Because their barrier to entry is very low compared to, if you need, $100,000 to start another franchise in the fitness industry versus all I need is $3,000 in terms of just franchise fees alone. Yes, you're going to have your building and all of that type of stuff. You got to pay your trainers, but that franchise fee is incredible, and it can be expensive, particularly if you're just starting out. Lastly, Orangetheory Fitness. Ellen Latham and her co-founder, but Ellen Latham has a remarkable story where she taught from the Jane Fonda days, step aerobics, all of that, 40-year career teaching classes, training other people. In 2010, she said, I don't like what I see. Okay, there's nothing strong enough with the metabolic rate involved. All right, and I've highlighted her on the past episode here on Fitness Friday, but 2010, founded Orangetheory Fitness, and is doing extremely well. I mean, we're talking about more than a 4,000% growth rate. Her franchise is on fire. All right. And so she essentially came in. Again, there's certain elements of her particular model and what happens in her facilities. Yes, they already exist, but she packaged it in a unique way. And also her facilities, and what makes it unique is that it's a boutique. It's a boutique concept. So people are paying $100, $150 a month in order to be a member and attend classes there. So it's not a $20 a month or $30, $40 a month. It's a higher price. It has a higher price point, but it's very successful. And we're talking about an average of $800,000 to $900,000 to start a franchise like hers. It's a very expensive barrier to entry, but it is on fire. But it's just very successful. They open up in 2 weeks, 30 days, full. I mean, just wherever they go. When I stepped inside one here in Metro Detroit, I said, you know what, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. And so, again, someone that just saw the changes needed to be made and things could be tweaked, and she developed a very strong concept in terms of what would help people succeed, and people are being successful, and the franchise is being successful. So, folks, I conclude this episode. Again, it could be you. It doesn't have to be in the fitness industry. But disruption and leadership is so important because it starts with a leadership vision. All right, the fitness industry is tough. I'll talk about that next time when I talk about it on a grander scale. But this is where you've had people, and it happens in every industry, but in the fitness industry where people came in and said, well, how can I tweak what we have? I'm not satisfied with what's already there. And they are very successful as a result. And so I look forward to continuing this conversation next time and talk about some of the disruption that has occurred on a grander scale and some of the trends that have really shaken things up and taken the industry by storm. But these are just examples of leadership. As John C. Maxwell, world-renowned leadership expert, always says, everything rises and falls on leadership. So here you have 4 of the top gems currently ranked in America, some in the world. But why? It all started with a leadership vision of change, of positive disruption, because that's truly what it takes to make a difference in the world. And I thank you so much for your time. Make it a wonderfully fit day.